Let's now set up the scene for the night shot. I'm gonna go into my outliner and hide the environment lights that I have for the day scene. And I'm gonna just unhide this night scene folder. Okay. If I'll open this night scene folder, in here you can see that we have these elements that we used for the first shot. We're gonna use these elements for the second shot as well, but with a few adjustments. Okay. So if I'll move my view somewhere around here, you can see that our HDRI backdrop that we have for the night shot is just not big enough to cover the entire scene. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just select this HDRI backdrop and increase the size. I'm going to bring up the details panel, and here you can see that we have this size parameter. I'm going to increase the size to, let's say, 5000. And if I'll move my view somewhere around here, you can see that 5000 is still not big enough. So I'm going to increase this to 10,000. And let's see. Yeah, 10,000 is still not big enough. So I'm just going to increase this to, let's say, I don't know, 12,000 maybe. Yeah, I think now it looks pretty good. Let me just have a quick walk around to see if there's anything that needs to be adjusted. If I'll enlarge this window, and in here you can see that we have this weird looking background with our HDRI, and I don't really want that. So to get rid of this weird background, what we can do is we can just split this window and, rotate this HDRI backdrop like so on Z axis to maybe just about there, I think. Maybe not. I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of this weird background by just rotation. I think I'm going to have to adjust the projection center as well. So to set the projection center, I'm going to just enlarge this window. And in here, you can see that we have this projection center parameter in the details panel. I'm just going to decrease this value to, I don't know, right now it is 10,000. Maybe let's try negative 20,000. Maybe not. I'm just going to add another 0 in here. And yeah, I think now it looks a lot better. Let's just move the playhead and see if we still have that weird background. We don't. I think everything looks pretty great. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's play this animation. Yeah, pretty cool. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna make a few adjustments in these elements. I'm just gonna select my exponential height fog and maybe increase the fog density to, let's say, 0.03 or maybe 0.04. No, I think 0.03 is good. And I'm just gonna scroll down and search for view distance. I'm gonna bring the slider all the way up. And yeah, I think now it looks a lot better. This is what I want. So I'm just gonna now split this window. Let me save everything in here. And yeah, I think now it looks a lot better. Okay. Let me just move my view somewhere around here and I'm gonna bring my playhead to frame number 0. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna attach a few spotlights with these hoverbikes. Okay. I'm gonna enlarge this window and I'm gonna go into this get content menu, go into lights and bring in a spotlight into the scene. Okay. Let me just enable rotation snap. I'm gonna bring this thing here, rotate this thing on Y like so by 90. I'm gonna move this thing over here. Let me just bring this thing up on Z. And I'm just gonna move this thing on Y like so. I'm gonna rotate this thing on Z by 10 degrees. And I'm gonna move this thing on Y. I'm gonna change the orientation to local. Yeah, I think now it looks better. Maybe I should place it just about there. And maybe I should bring it over here on Y-axis. I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna now go ahead and increase the intensity. And I'm gonna also change the light color to red. Just like that. I'm gonna press OK. And yeah, I think it looks good. Let me just press G on the keyboard to hide these icons and have a better look. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. I'm just gonna now select this light in here and maybe increase the intensity to, let's say, 200. And I'm gonna scroll down to increase the volumetric scattering intensity to 4. I don't know. I'm gonna press G on the keyboard. Perhaps a little bit more. I'm gonna increase this to, let's say, 10. Yeah, I think now it looks a little bit better. I'm gonna press G on the keyboard. It's gonna give me this very good looking foggy sort of god rays in here. I'll demonstrate this once we move on to our shot. For now, I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna create a duplicate copy on y-axis, and I'm gonna do the same thing with this one as well, and this one as well. Okay, so let's just move this thing on X. Let me just move my view here. I'm gonna move this thing like so, and I'm gonna move down here. I'm gonna bring this thing down on Z-axis. I'm just gonna move this thing over here. I'm gonna bring this thing up on Z fractionally. Move this on Y. Move this on Z again. Perhaps I should disable the rotation snap. I'm routed this thing on Z like so. Maybe just a little bit like that. Yeah, I'm gonna move this thing up on Z again. Just about there. And yeah, I think it looks good. Let's now move this thing on X to just about there. Okay. I think I should also adjust the cone angles as well. I'm gonna bring down the cone angle in here to maybe just about there, I guess. And I'm also gonna increase the inner cone angle as well to just about there. Perhaps a little bit less, maybe just about there. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think it looks good. I'm gonna copy these cone angle values for the other one as well. I'm just gonna select this one, paste the inner cone angle value, and I'm gonna select the slide, copy the outer cone angle, and just press Ctrl V in here to paste that value. Okay. Maybe I should move this thing fractionally on Y. Yeah, I think now it looks a lot better. I'm gonna press G on the keyboard to hide these icons and have a better look. Yeah, looks good. Let's now create a duplicate copy of the slide. I'm gonna just select the spotlight from here and create a duplicate copy on y-axis. I'm gonna bring it here. I'm gonna move this thing on X, just about there. And I'm gonna move this thing on Y like so, just about there. Okay. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Let's select all these lights from here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna parent these lights to the Sci-Fi Hoverbike. For this, first I'll have to move these spotlights to the folder of the Sci-Fi Hoverbike. So I'm just gonna move them to the folder of Patrol Troopers. Let me just scroll up in the outliner. Which one is it? I think it's this one. I'm just gonna select these spotlights and parent them to the Sci-Fi Hoverbike. Yeah, I think it looks good. Now if I'll move my playhead, you can see that these hoverbikes are gonna move along with it. Okay. Let's now select these spotlights, and I'm gonna create a duplicate copy of all of them on y-axis for this one as well. I'm gonna rotate them on Z like so, and let's adjust them individually. First, just let me bring them here, and I'm gonna now select this one, and move this thing over here. Just about there, I guess. Back on x-axis, just about there. And I'm gonna move this thing on y like so. Okay. Let's now adjust this one. I'm gonna select the light, move this thing on x and y axis like so. And I'm gonna move this thing on x to just about there. And I'm gonna move this thing on y. Perhaps I should fractionally bring this thing up on z. Yeah. I'm gonna now select this one as well. Move it like so. And come on. Yeah, I'm gonna move this thing on x-axis to just about there. And I'm gonna move this thing on y. And maybe fractionally up on z, just about there and there. Okay. Yeah, looks good. I'm gonna press G on the keyboard to hide these icons and have a better look. Yeah, I think they all look pretty good. Okay. I'm gonna now select these lights from here. Let me select this one from here, and then this one. And I'm gonna just parent them to this Sci-Fi hoverbike, this one. Let's move back. And if I'll now move this playhead, you can see the lights are moving along with the Sci-Fi hoverbikes. Okay. Let's move back to frame number 0. I'm gonna split this window and let's see how this thing looks like in our shot. Perhaps a little bit more scattering in here. I'm gonna select the spotlights, select this one, and this one as well. And let's open the details panel. And I'm gonna increase the volumetric scattering intensity to 15, maybe 20. Yeah, I think 20 looks good. And let me just move this playhead and see how this thing looks like. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm gonna save everything. And let's now place a few lights on the background assets as well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enlarge this window and let's place some lights on this asset. I'm gonna just go into this get content menu. I'm gonna go into lights and bring a point light into the scene. Let me just move this thing up on Z. I'm gonna move this thing on X and then on Y and on X, maybe a little bit up on Z. I'm gonna move this thing on Y, maybe a little bit up on Z as well. And I'm gonna move this thing there. Okay. I'm gonna now create a duplicate copy of this thing on Y-axis. Bring it here. I'm gonna move this thing on Y to just about there. Yeah, looks pretty good. I'm gonna select both of these point lights and let's parent them to the Sci-Fi rover. I'm gonna select this one. Yeah, it's the second last asset. I'm just gonna select these point lights and parent them to this asset right here. Okay. Yeah. Now if I'll move this thing, you can see that the point lights are also moving along with it. Let me just bring the playhead back to 0. I'm gonna select both of these point lights and let me just open up the details panel. And I'm gonna increase the intensity to, let's say, 200 in here and also increase the attenuation radius. Maybe 16,000. Okay. Yeah, looks pretty good. And Yeah, I think for the most part, that is pretty much it. Let's split this window and see how this thing actually looks like in our shot. I'm gonna enlarge this window and I don't see any sort of light in here. Let's increase this to, I don't know, 1000 maybe. Nope. 5000, 10,000, or maybe let's add another zero. Yeah, I think now we have a little bit of light in here. Okay, so it looks pretty good. I'm gonna now split this window and let's add a backlight as well. I'm gonna enlarge this window, go into the get content menu, and I'm gonna bring in a rectangular light into the scene. Let me just move this thing on X. I'm gonna move this thing up on Z. I'm gonna move this thing on Y, and I'm gonna just bring this thing over here. Yeah, I think I should adjust the source height to just about there. And I'm gonna also adjust the barn tone angle like so, and adjust the width as well. Maybe just about, yeah, I think it looks good. I'm gonna move this thing back on X-axis and increase the source height like so. I'm gonna adjust the source width and maybe move this thing on Y to just about, I don't know, there. I'm gonna increase the source width to maybe 160. Okay, yeah, I think it looks good. I'm gonna increase the intensity to 160 and I'm gonna change the light color to red. I'm gonna press OK and let's see how this thing looks like. I'm gonna increase the intensity to, let's say, I don't know, 500, and I'm gonna also increase the attenuation radius as well. And yeah, let's split this window and see how this thing actually looks like. I'm gonna enlarge this window, and yeah, I don't really see any sort of red color in here. Maybe I should increase this thing to, let's say, 5000, maybe 10,000, or maybe let's add another zero. Yeah, now I see a little bit of this red spot in here. Okay, I'm gonna split this window. Oops, I think I forgot to parent this light with the asset. So I'm just gonna move back on the sequencer to just about there. And I'm gonna select this rectangular light from here. And I'm gonna bring down the details panel. And let's parent this rectangular light with this asset. Okay. Now, if I'll move this asset, as you know, it's gonna move along with it. There we go. Okay. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna save everything and let me just enlarge this window. Uh, what is this red color still doing in here? I think it's just a technical glitch. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna now select these lights from here and create a duplicate copy on X-axis. And I'm gonna do the same thing with this one as well. Okay. So let's bring them on X-axis to just about there. And I'm gonna just move them right here. And you know what? Let's open the details panel and copy this intensity value. And I'm gonna just type 10 in here so that I can easily adjust the position of these lights. I'm gonna move this thing on X, move it on Y, move this thing again on X, and uh, move this thing on Y fractionally, just about there. And I'm just gonna move this thing on X like so. Okay, let's see. Yeah, this side looks good as well. Maybe I should fractionally move this thing on Y axis. Yeah, looks pretty good. And maybe I should move this thing on Y to just about there. Yeah, I think this one looks good as well. Okay, let's now paste the intensity value for this one. And this one as well. And before I, go ahead and check this thing out, I'll first just select these lights and parent them with this asset. I'm going to bring down the details panel, and I think it's this asset. I'm going to just select these lights and parent them with this one. Let's see how this thing looks like. Yeah, it works. I'm just going to split this window and see how this thing looks like in our shot. Perhaps, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this window, select these point lights, and just move them fractionally on x-axis to maybe just about there. Let me enlarge this window and see how this thing looks like. Yeah, it's a little bit better, but maybe I should move them a little bit further on x-axis. I'm going to select both of them and move them on x-axis just about there. And let me enlarge this window. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I think now it looks a lot better. I'm going to save everything, and let's now attach the rectangular light as well. I'm just going to move my view here just about there and select the slide from here. What's going on? Yeah, it's just a technical glitch. And I'm going to just press Ctrl D to duplicate this rectangular light. And I'll just move this thing. Let me enlarge this window. I'm going to move this thing right here. And let's rotate this thing on Z like so. I think I should enable the rotation snap and rotate this thing on Z axis by 180. I'm going to bring it here. Bring this thing down on Z, move this thing on Y. Oops. Come on. There we go. And I'm gonna move this thing up on Z, move it on X, bring it just about there. I'm gonna move this thing on Y, move this thing on X, and place it just about there. Okay. And I'm also gonna make sure that I parent this light with this one. Okay. If I'll now move this asset, the light is moving along with it. Okay. So I'm gonna split this window, enlarge this window, and see how this thing actually looks like. Yeah, the rectangular light is not visible in here, but I do see some indirect lighting on the surface of the road. So far so good. I'm gonna save everything. And let's now place some sort of light on this asset as well. Maybe I should just enlarge this window and bring in a point light into the scene. Place it just about there, and let me bring up the details panel. Come on, there we go. I'm gonna increase this thing to, let's say, 5,000 and increase the attenuation radius as well. And I'm gonna bring up this thing on Z. Place it just about there. I'm not sure, so I'm just gonna split this window. Select this light again. And yeah, let's change the color to red. I'm gonna press OK. And Let's see. Yeah, maybe I should increase the intensity to, let's say, 10,000. Maybe not. Maybe I should add another 0 in here. Yeah, I think now it looks a little bit better, but I should just select this point light and move this thing on the y-axis. Yeah, now it looks a lot better, okay? Perhaps that's a little bit too much. I'm gonna select this light, move this thing on y fractionally. Maybe just a little bit more. Yeah, I think now it looks good. Let's enlarge this window. Perhaps I should move this thing on y just a little bit like so. Yeah, now it looks a lot better. So I'm gonna save everything again, and let's now place some lights around this asset as well. I'm gonna just bring in a point light into the scene. There we go. Maybe just about there. I don't think this is a good position. I'm gonna bring this thing down on Z, bring it just about there, and I'm gonna increase the animation radius. I don't think this is gonna be enough, so I'm gonna increase this to, let's say, 30,000. Still not enough. Let's say 50,000. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. I'm just gonna press Alt J on the keyboard to go into the top view. I'm gonna press F to focus on this light, and let me just zoom out. And yeah, I'm just gonna place one light over here. Oops. I'm gonna create a duplicate copy, place one light over here. I'm gonna select both of them and create another duplicate copy of these two lights and place them just about there. Okay, let me just select all these lights in here, and let's see. I'm gonna increase the intensity to, I don't know, 10,000 maybe. Yeah, not high enough. I'm gonna increase the value. Let's add 5 in here, or maybe let's just add another 0. Yeah, I think now it looks a little bit better. Maybe I should change this to 5. No, I think that's a little bit too much. Yeah, maybe just about there. Perhaps 1 or 2 in here. I don't know. Let's just type 5 in here. Maybe I think I should just replace this 5 with 0. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, so I'm just gonna press Alt G in here to go back into the perspective mode. And yeah, I think these lights look pretty good. I'm gonna select all of them. Let me enlarge this window, and there's the difference. Okay, I'm gonna split the window again, and let's add a few lights around this asset as well. I'm just gonna go into the top view again, press Alt J on the keyboard, press F to focus, press W to bring in the gizmo, and I'm just gonna create a duplicate copy and move these lights. Oops, just about there. I'm gonna move them, I don't know. Yeah, perhaps I think the distance is a little bit too much. So I'm just gonna select and delete 3 of them. I'm gonna select this light and bring it just about there. Somewhere around here, let's say, maybe just about, I don't know, there, I guess. Yeah. I'm gonna create another duplicate copy, bring it just about there. I'm gonna select these 2 lights, create a duplicate copy on y-axis, and there we go. Okay. I'm gonna press Alt G to go into the perspective mode. I'm gonna press F to focus. Let's select all these lights around this asset. I'm gonna bring them down on Z. Maybe just about there, I guess. I think the value is perhaps a little bit too much. Let's change this to 10,000. I just want a very subtle light in here. Yeah, maybe I should add another 0 in here. Maybe another one. Yeah, I think now it looks good, but perhaps that's a little bit too much. So I'm just gonna type 5 in here. Or maybe 2. I think maybe 5. Or perhaps 10. Yeah, I think this number looks good. Yeah, I'm gonna split this window and let's move the view just about there. Uh, let's see. I'm gonna enlarge this window and let's see how this thing actually looks like. I think the light is perhaps a little bit too much in here. I'm just gonna go ahead and select those point lights. I think they are last 4 in the outliner. Yeah, I'm gonna just enlarge this window and decrease the intensity to perhaps like so. I think even this is a little bit too much, so maybe 1 in here or maybe 2. Yeah, I think this is what I was looking for. So I'm just gonna move the playhead here and yeah, I think everything looks good. I'm gonna save everything. Uh, Let me just move this playhead right here and I'm gonna bring down this window. Now, one final thing that I like to adjust before I end this lesson is this HDRI backdrop. This night sky that we have in our shot in the form of HDRI backdrop is just not of very high quality. You can see that the resolution in here is just not high enough. This is because we scaled up this HDRI backdrop quite a lot, and that is why you can see that the resolution is just not good enough for a very cinematic looking shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into polyhaven.com and download this HDRI backdrop in a higher resolution. So in here I am inside polyhaven.com and this is the HDRI backdrop that we're using for our night shot. I'm just going to open up this one and change the resolution to 24K. Make sure you select HDR in here and I'm just going to click on this download button. Once the download is complete, I'm just going to bring up this window in here. I'm going to go into the content browser. Let's go into this HDRIs folder. I'm going to click on import. I'm going to select the HDRI that I just downloaded. I'm going to open up this one. It's going to take some time to import. There we go. The import is complete. Let me just cancel this thing. And if I'll now go ahead and select the HDRI backdrop from here, I'm going to go ahead and select this 24K resolution HDRI backdrop and click on this arrow. And boom, there we go. Now you can see that we have a very high quality looking HDRI in our shot. Okay. So that's pretty much it for this lesson and I'll see you guys in the next one.